Hey guys, this is Luke Jano, and today I'm going to be starting a new series called Everything Terrain. That's bizarre, right? Everything Terrain, where I teach you guys how to work with different terrain techniques. So, starting off, we're going to work on creating a clone-based block terrain. So, we're just going to want to start off with a normal single kind of sprite thing. Um, Make a block, however, whatever size you want. Probably you want it to be a square. I'm I'm just not even gonna lie about that. You're gonna want it to be a square, sort of like that, I guess. That works. Um, that's about the size. We're gonna. Oh, that's bitmap. We don't want bitmap. We want vector. So I'm gonna go over to vector and make a quick little square here. There you go. And I'll just fill it in or something. Or you know what? Null. No, let's just make it white. So this will be our null block, which is what we're going to base everything off of. So I'm going to do all the testing and stuff using this null block and not using any sprite scripts I've made in the future. So I don't know, block render. And going over this, I'm going to teach you guys a quick little easy math formula, but not yet. That'll come later after we get the rendering out of the way. So what we're going to do is motion. Let's go up to here to begin. Right around there. I like to keep these at even numbers. So negative 225, 165. That's a nice even starting area. And then you're going to want to loop through this and change position. So stamp. And that's obviously X10 is way too small, but just for guide. Uh, and what we're trying to do, we're just trying to figure out how much space we need to leave between each block when we render them. So I'm just going to clear up here as well. So if you made your block a different size, it's going to be different than mine. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and 50 is way too big. Should have realized that. I'm getting closer, as you can see. 25, 26. Let's see. I like 20, maybe 24. 24. I like 24. So there we go. And now I'm going to find out how many I can have across. So 17, 18 is going to be how many I can have across at once. And then we can have it go down. Now, I'm just going to tell you something right off the bat. Um, depending on how, depending on how optimized you want this to be, how fast you want it to run, you might want to make this a bit smaller. So I could do 12 by like 10 or something and really have it be well optimized and just work well. But or you could just go full screen. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it's all based on how big you want the blocks to be. So I'm just gonna go full screen with this bad boy. Set x to negative 225. Then change y by 24, negative 24. Now, actually, we want 19. There we go. That will, and I bet we could actually squeeze another one in there. So we could probably do 15 by 20. Whoops, 15 by 20. And let's see how that looks. Okay, so there's a full screen for you. So that's going to be show hide. That's gonna be what our terrain will look like, or that's what our terrain grid will end up looking like. Now we need actual terrain and all that stuff, but we'll worry about the generation later. We're only worried about the viewing part for now. So what we're going to do is when I receive generate or no uh, start clones, we're going to do this clone based and not stamp based. And again, I haven't done everything clones yet, or I haven't done anything with clones, so um, I apologize for um, not explaining to you how I personally do clones. Well, I will explain to you. How about that? So c.x, just make, or cx works. Make two variables, cx and cy, and I prefer to make them private, but that's going to come into conflict with making a that's going to come into contact when you're actually making a um, a clone because private variables stay private within clones. So what we do to bypass that is you can actually take sensing blocks, this kind of sensing block right here, and use it for a clone, and it will stay. So what you would do is you'd go to a different sprite and drag it in, and then change it to block render, and then drag it out. So I'm just going to do that as an example inside a stage. So what I would do is get it in block render, change it to block render, and put it inside a block render. But block render is my only sprite right now, so I don't have that problem. But you might have that problem if you've got more sprites. So that's just how you would do it if you've got more sprites. If you don't, it'll probably already come up and you can probably already get to this. And again, if these don't come up, if CX and CY don't come up, that means that they're public variables, and you can work with that too. I just prefer to keep it down because this is probably going to be a very big project, and you don't want it to be cluttered with a ton of public variables. I'll tell you right now, that's not what you're going to want. So, every time we're going to want to create a new clone. When I start as a clone, block. And make sure not to check run without screen refresh. X and Y. Did I do X and Y? I guess we could do that. X, Y, and ID, I guess. That's a little bizarre. I didn't mean to do it like that. I wasn't thinking correctly. But you know what? I actually kind of like this idea. I've never actually done it like this. Wait, ID? Do we really? I don't think we need ID anymore. Nah, we don't need ID. Oh wait. So just get rid of this ID thing because we're not gonna need that. Put CX and CY in there. And then now we're just always going to go to plus. So these always start at 1, right? Yeah. So you're going to just want to put -1 in there really quick. So x -1 and y -1. And make sure it's above the plus. Wait, y -1, not 1 minus y. Plus -225 and 165. Oh wait, I forgot to do the multiplication. You also want to multiply it by 24 or whatever number you got from that test that I showed you how to do just before. So 224. Wait, y is actually -24. And then x is going to be positive 24. 24. And now that you got that, we can go forever. let's switch costume to, now we can make a terrain area kind of thing. I'm just going to call it at world because that's what I usually call a terrain map. You can call it terrain map or whatever you want. This is just what I do. Um, plus. And so why I started at 1, because you might be wondering, why did you start at 1 if you're just going to take -1 at the beginning? Well, it's because of this. It's because in Scratch lists count from 1 instead of starting at 0, and that actually creates problems in programming. So I know how to avoid it because I've been doing this for a very long time. But if you don't know how to do it, this is just the easiest way in my opinion. You could start it at 0. I do that a lot actually, but this is just the easiest conceptually. So y minus 1 times whatever your world size is going to be. So make an at world size variable that's public as well. That's what I recommend doing. And then x not, let me repeat this, x not time minus 1. Do not do x minus 1 because the lists start at index 1. And that might not make sense to you, but if you understand how arrays start at 0, it just, believe me, you don't do that. So now that we got all this started, pen, clear, switch custom. Um, then we can do this if else. Because this is what we did. Yeah, okay, so if item of world. Wait, yes, that's what we want. So if that, oops, no, no, no. If that is equal to 0, then hide, otherwise we can show it. There we go. And let's just create a few different costumes. So null. Let's just call this ground, I guess. I don't even know. Ground and grass. Perfect. So, now that we've got that all out of the way, let's make a new sprite and let's call this terrain generation. We're not going to do any terrain generation right now. We are just going to declare the world size. So let's set the world size at, I don't know, 50. And this is the horizontal world size, just to let you know. Vertical, you can do whatever you want with. Vertical is going to be a different beast. This is start world generation. Now, generate, I don't know, generate layer, or generate random world. Now, we're going to change this up later, so generate random world is not a method that we're going to be using forever. Repeat, world size, and then whatever you want the vertical world size to be. I'm just going to make it 50 for now. So it's going to be a square world. Add, pick random 1 and 2. Oh, so I guess we're going to need to do here broadcast star clones, broadcast star world generation, whatever. 1 and 2. Oh, I guess that's what 1 and 2 are. Let's make it 1 through 3. I feel like that'd be nicer. There. So there's not a whole lot that we can do about speeding up this clone thing, but the world's actually already all generated, and it's viewing it. So this is actually visualizing your world, and it's going through every single one. So see how the last number is 720? Well, if you do 15 times 20, or wait, no, not 15 times 20. Sorry. If you do 15, wait, so, no, wait. So the world across is 50, right? Yeah. So 50 times 15, 50 times 14? I don't know. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it's visualizing everything correctly. I mean, it looks like it to me. Looks like everything was looking pretty good. Oh, wait a second. We need to... I forgot to do this. So in terrain generation, you want to delete everything first. That's what you wanted to start with. So that, yeah. So yeah, it'll be good. Nice and good and pretty like that now. I believe that the last item in world is going to be 1. Anyway, it should be referencing, yeah, every single value. And everything, nothing looks really bad or repeated. So that's good. All this big area of green over here is a little weird, but I think that's just a coincidence. We can check. And let's start by doing X pause and Y pause and seeing how we can roam through this area. So again, we want these to be public. Or, I mean, you know what? We can make them private. But, I don't know. It just makes a whole lot more sense for them to be public in the long run. Because we won't have to keep referencing them um, through this kind of thing where we do an item of whatever. That's just bad. I hate doing that. So in block render, um, right over here, make these two things, X pause and Y pause, and make sure that they're in both places and ready to be added. X pause, Y pause. Wait, where'd my other Y pause go? Oh, doesn't matter. X pause, Y pause. There we go. So now we should be able to move around. So let's make a third sprite. Let's call this player. We're not going to actually have a player yet. Actually, this is not going to be freeform moving at all yet. So this is just going to be a very blocky kind of movement. Whenever I see start player, I guess. If I don't even know. I've done so many different tutorials today. It's crazy. So I'm a little tired of doing tutorials. So I'm just kind of losing it. So my apologies for anything weird I do like this, where I just kind of spread everything out. Make sure to set X pause and Y pause to 0 at the beginning. Change Y pause by 1, change Y pause by -1, -1, change X pause by 1, change X pause by -1. Okay. So now we should be able to roam around. Oh. Alright, left and right work well. Up and down are not correctly working. But when you see it go off into that weird abyss, that would be because it is running out of values to check. And see how it's running out of values and they're all becoming green as I keep going left further and further and further into the abyss. This is something I call the diagonal. I don't even want to talk about it. It's called I call it the diagonal uh the diagonal problem. I don't even know. It the world actually can be visualized diagonally, and that sounds weird conceptually, and to be honest, it is a little weird. What that means is how that like little script, so how this little formula kind of script right over here works is as it continues off into the distance, it will continue in a downward to the right diagonal line. And that probably makes no sense to you, and I don't blame you for that. But that's why the abyss, as I continue leftward past the boundaries, it doesn't go into the abyss like it does at the top, but instead, it slowly, block by block, moves into this abyss of only having green blocks up right there, right here. See how it's like slowly only getting green. That's why. Fun fact, probably not that fun. So we want to prevent that. So what I'm going to do is, since we don't know what the vertical world size is going to be yet, because that's going to be a little bit weird, we're going to do if less than 0, if x pauses greater than 0, if, if x pos is, we don't need world size. Oh wait, yes we do. What am I saying? If we're less than world size. That's one left arrow, right arrow. There we go. There we go. Oh, I forgot to make start player in here. Wait, did that change something? Did start player change something? I feel like it shouldn't. But there you go. There's your world generation. Uh-oh, abyss. That's how you do basic world visualization. So that will be Everything Terrain Episode 1. Tomorrow, or whenever I make the next video, we'll tackle world generation. So how you actually make a nice looking kind of world with like air and nice things like I don't know, we could do minerals maybe. I've got a little fun little way to seed and do minerals. Uh, Mineral generation's a little tougher. There's ways to do it that, are better than how I do it, but I just do it a very simple way. So, anyway, we'll talk about all that next time. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.